If anybody wants to accept the minutes, please let me know.
I'll accept them.
Oh, there's a little more.
Can somebody second it?
I accept the minute.
Thank you, Amy. Can we share the agenda? So we'll do some introductions. We already reviewed our minutes. Hoping to get a update from Ernest on Facebook and LinkedIn. We'll talk about the title of our webinar format, and schedule our next meeting. Everybody take a look at that, and then you can stop sharing. Thank you. So I think everybody knows everybody. It was at the last meeting. Amy, do you remember everyone?
One moment. I don't see that I have the ability to pin as the interpreter, and I want to be able to pin Ernest. I see 6, but I don't, when I click on him, it doesn't allow me to pin. So
You should be all set. You have the ability to multi-pin now.
perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to Amy because I wasn't at the last meeting. So hello.
Okay, so then we'll do it. Well, let's do quick introductions. Just again, because Betsy wasn't here last time. I'm Denise Corson. I'm the ATEL program coordinator and the chair. Betsy, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm Betsy Beach. I'm a commissioner and I work in employment training at Amos House in Providence.
Ernest?
Ernest says hi. I'm Ernest Covington III, and I'm the executive director of the Rhode Island Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing.
Paul?
Paul Hewitt, and I work for the Office of Rehabilitation Services.
Jeannie? We're just doing quick introductions.
Were you able to see her, Joan?
I haven't multi-pinned her. No, sorry, I didn't know she was there. Sorry. Sorry, I hadn't pinned you and you were in the, I missed you. Could you say it again? Sorry. So Jeannie is saying, yes, please. She says, I'm Jeannie and I'm a freelance interpreter at the School for the Deaf. I work itinerant, basically at the school and freelance.
Bethany, do you want to say a quick hello?
I'm Bethany Link, and I am contract project coordinator for the commission, and I help support projects in all the departments.
Thank you. And Amy, do you want to give a quick introduction?
Yeah, sure. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. My name is Amy Hogue, and I am deaf, and I am an active job seeker here in Rhode Island.
Thank you for coming, Amy. Thank you for being our new member. And while we're talking about members, we do have, Pam sent me that the latest regarding the DLT representative, that the chief program, Robert, the chief of program division from DLT, said he should have someone appointed to us soon. So hopefully soon, by hopefully our next meeting, we'll have a member of the DLT. Okay. Ernest, So can you give us an update on the Facebook and the LinkedIn account? Are those all up and running and who's managing them?
Right. So Ernest is saying, I had talked to Pam about setting up the Facebook group for employment and also the LinkedIn. LinkedIn is such a hard thing to spell. Sorry, LinkedIn. I'm doing a little checking about that, about setting it up. We can set it up through our Facebook page and LinkedIn. We've got that all set now. And it should be free, LinkedIn. And I could set it up so that you could be the admin. I have not set up LinkedIn, but I wanted to check in with you all. If you feel ready to move forward to that, for that, then I can tell Pam. But I wanted to give you the option. You can be for both the Facebook page and LinkedIn, that you can, you know, do that administrating or whatever. And I also wanted to add that after the retreat of the commission, we had the retreat, 4 meetings in March. For the whole month of March, we kept on meeting at night. And we were talking about what we should be doing moving forward. We'd like to ask the sitting commissioners, you know, to like have somebody come to our meeting once a month, one representative of the employment committee. It could be, you know, the chair or representative to come and give a report to the commissioners on what each committee has been doing, so that we keep abreast of what you're doing. And you could comment then about the Facebook page and LinkedIn. And that, you know, if we have the group set up, then people can also join if they're interested in work opportunities and other kinds of things, networking. So I think it'd be nice to be able to have somebody join our commission meeting. We have a meeting scheduled coming up at the end of April, and I can email you about what it is. And then the commissioners could listen, you know, to what you have to say and spread the information through word of mouth. I think that if you're ready to set up those 2 things, the Facebook page and the LinkedIn, I'm ready to go with it. I just need to give the okay to Pam.
Betsy, aren't you a commissioner?
Yeah, I give a report at the
Okay,
meeting.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Good.
fine. If somebody does want to go, that's fine too.
But if we could just, if Betsy's representing that, we could give you, maybe just give them a report of what we're looking for. Now, as far as managing LinkedIn, Amy, is that something that you would be able to do for us? I'm not really familiar with that. I'm on it, but I don't really go on it. Is that something you're familiar with?
I'd be happy to start it, or I would be able to do it with someone else, but I would be happy to get it going. Yeah.
All right.
He's
And
saying, yeah, if you want to do it with somebody, Ernest is saying,
I would like to do it with someone, preferably.
yes, sorry,
So,
Ernest,
if
sorry.
something happens.
Amy, what Ernest is saying is, I think the idea of being on that is a very good idea. 2 people working together as like co-administrators.
Yeah, definitely.
would there be somebody that's familiar with that on this committee that would be able to help Amy with that?
Well, Ernest is saying, I think we could talk to Pam or another staff person who could help administer it with Amy.
That would be great.
If you don't have 2 people, I could get somebody from RICDHH office to do that. I don't think that would be a problem.
I think it would be a good idea if it was somebody under the commission and a representative, so that we got a good feel of what's doing, what's.
Yeah,
that-
definitely.
Yeah, that we post
Definitely.
what we want to post. I know Betsy has mentioned about the Facebook page. I do a Facebook page too for ATAP, so I have no problem being one of the coordinators for that. I think Paul might, I don't know how many we could have, but I know Paul with the Office of Rehabilitation Services has a lot of information. Would you want to be able to add things to that as well, Paul? If we made
Yeah,
you,
sure. Yeah,
yes?
yes.
Okay, great. 'Cause I think through ORS, through us, and again, I do think somebody, I know you mentioned Betsy, since you're on the commission, maybe you could just instead be our representative to report monthly on the employment committee. That could be your duty. Then Paul and myself and somebody from the commission can be in charge of Facebook. And then Amy and somebody from the commission can be in charge of dual admin for the LinkedIn. That way we're not.
Perfect, perfect.
Does that sound good to everyone?
That's perfect.
Okay. So we'll get to the title of our webinar. So I tried to put together to my best of the ability our conversations we had over the last month on what we wanted to do. So what do we all think about work experiences of deaf and hard of hearing people on their path to employment?
I like it.
Anybody have any issues? Betsy?
The only thing is is it on their path or is it already employed people?
Okay, so let's think of a better title. So that's what
I
I'm.
would just say work experiences of deaf and hard of hearing people, period.
Okay,
Shorten it a little, maybe.
okay. Okay. Let's do some of what are we thinking about? Maybe 10 people at most? What do we all think are high end 10 we aim for?
I think if we aim for 10 and get 5, we'll be,
Still good.
yeah.
So, because then people don't at the last minute, but at least try for 10. And then, like I said, whatever we get, we hopefully at least get 5 by that. So we're thinking, everybody agree we aim for 10 people?
I think that's good. I think that's unfair. Perhaps if you get all 10 committing, and then you could really over 2 nights, because I think 10 people in one night is a little bit overwhelming at times, especially if you really want them to go into detail about their experiences and articles and everything else. So I would say maximum 5 per night, but invite 10 would be great.
I'm just thinking it might be hard to get, I know we haven't really got a great list going. So I think if we even shot for 10, we wouldn't get 10, and we can always develop on top of that. Let's say if it's 10 minutes per person speaking, right? Let's move it down to 8. Again, I feel like we're gonna lose people at the end anyway. So
Right, definitely.
8. Let's try for 8. And if we get 6, that's 10 minutes, 6 at 10 minutes, which would be an hour with like maybe 30 minutes for conversations and things like that. How does that sound?
That sounds perfect.
Okay. So we are looking to do May. So we're already at the beginning of April. I know May is the better hearing month. So if we can do May, I think, but due to it already the beginning of April, I know Ernest is saying yes. Why don't we look at the end of May to give us some time? Bethany, do you have, I think the nights work better for people because these are employed people. So that we need to give them time. I believe we did 6 to 8 p.m. last time, correct?
Yes.
How does the last week of May look to you, Bethany, on the commission's calendar?
I can open up the system real quick. I'm sorry, I
Okay.
can't see both screens, so
Yeah.
you'll have to use voice to. What night are you guys thinking of?
Do we all like not having it on a Monday because we can give reminders on a Monday about the presentation? So maybe, what are we thinking? Maybe a Tuesday or a Wednesday, everyone? Anybody have a preference?
Would have to be a Wednesday for me.
Any other?
I wouldn't be able to do a Tuesday.
Wednesday, okay for,
And both Jeannie's saying Wednesday or even Thursday.
okay.
Wednesday's fine with us as long as it doesn't conflict, yeah.
Okay, so are we looking at that last week, the week of the 24th? So we're either looking at the 26th, the 19th. That Wednesday would be a commission meeting, so we couldn't do that. So it would be 26th.
Yes.
Okay, so let me look at what we have that night, if there are any conflicts.
And just, this is the interpreter, that Monday is the holiday, is that right? It would be after Memorial Day? Just to clarify.
Let me check on my iPhone because the system does not tell me.
Nope, the 31st is Memorial Day, so it's the week.
Yes, ma'am.
Memorial Day is the 31st, yeah.
I'm gonna mute myself because the kids just got home and it's gonna get loud, so just a moment.
Okay.
There's nothing scheduled on that last Wednesday. So that is available. So
Okay,
that would,
so, okay, so Wednesday, May 26th at 6 PM. How does that sound to everyone?
I'm supposed to be with my family on Zoom that night.
Oh. We could do Thursday.
Thursday would be better if that's okay. It's
let
just,
me check real quick.
Okay, let's see. You make everyone happy.
Okay, yep. Nope, that's fine. That's fine.
okay,
Okay. So Wednesday, May 27th
Thursday.
at 6.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday, I'm sorry, Thursday, May 27th at 6 PM. Okay.
So we'll need 2 interpreters and cart. And Denise, if you can just email me that in a summary, because I just need that for the records for the request, but I will begin working on this.
Thank you. So now if we can go to our list of presenters. So I do have confirmed, James Litvak is confirmed. I believe Jean said Jesus is confirmed and Alex is confirmed, correct?
Denise, the interpreter couldn't hear the second name. There was a bit.
Alex?
Alex Leferian, right before him, who did you say?
Okay, I have Jesus, Remigio. You got
Yes.
Brown, okay. And Alex, Balsley. He's in the Coast Guard.
Yes.
Okay. And I believe Paul said he had a former VR consumer. Is that a yes for him, Paul?
We'll have to put that down as a tentative, but I will hopefully know by within the next 24 hours or so, because now I can shoot him a date and
Perfect.
pin him down.
Thank you. Does anybody, so we had, as a possibility, I don't know if who reached out, Travis? Oh,
Did someone reach out?
I think we lost Jeannie. We lose her?
Her screen is, I don't know if she turned her screen
We
off.
lost her. We
She's
lost
gone.
her. I think the Wi-Fi is spotty where she's at.
Okay. Okay, I think most of the people were on. Does anybody else have anybody that we didn't mention? Amy, you said Heather from Perspective, she wanted to speak.
You mean Heather Need Bala?
It just says
Okay.
Heather Perspective.
There's two. There's a hearing and a deaf one. Deaf one.
Okay.
Heather Need Bala.
Did she say she wants to speak at it? Amy?
I don't know. I'm just saying I haven't asked her, and I just think like that's a part of a name that we could reach out to her.
Would you like to reach out to her?
Me? Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
sure.
Okay, anybody else have any other names?
We have James Litvack.
Yep, I said him. Yep, we have James. Travis Zellner was mentioned on this. I think a lot of these people are Jeannie's people and she's not on anymore. Does anybody know Travis and want to reach out to him? Or should I wait for Jeannie?
Is it Travis Zellner? Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Does anybody else have any other individuals? So, so what's today? Today is Wednesday. So before we can set something up, we got to try it. Now that we have a date and time, if everybody in the next week can really think about who they can invite and that we still probably need a good 4 or 5 more people.
Denise,
Yeah,
because of open meetings, we have to send our responses to either Ernest or Bethany, and they can send them out to the other employment committee members. Can't send them to each other in between meetings. So if, say, somebody contacts Travis Zellner and he says yes,
yeah.
we have to tell either Ernest or Bethany, and then they can tell the rest of the group. Because it can't be
What's it?
emails between any employment committee members because of open meetings. We have been doing that and we shouldn't be.
So could you just reply to the committee? Like if you have some, so you're saying, can you reach out to another person and then just reply to the committee what they say?
I don't think so. I think the only thing we're allowed to send emails about are meeting times and dates. Is that right, Ernest? Ernest knows about this.
Well, I know people on the employment committee could, gosh, talk to each other, but not the chair. Well, boy. For the employment committee, I think that's different than the board, but it's sticky. I think we could check in with the OMA people just to be sure that the employment committee could communicate through email, but I'm not 100% sure. I know it's pretty strict about the commissioners.
Yeah, because we just talked about that at the meeting. If you could find out, then we can know.
Yeah, I'm a little confused on what, that we're not allowed to email people. That's,
Couldn't we just CC everyone on each email? Every committee member?
you think?
The
Ernest?
I can check, but at this point, any communication, OMA forbids communication, but it specifically is about the commissioners. We can't talk through email at all because then we're actually meeting and we can't meet without an open meeting. But subcommittees like tech access, employment, education, I don't know if it applies to you folks in the same way. that you can't discuss anything through email. I don't know, and I'll check with OMA. I know the commissioners can't. They can't send any emails. So CCing everybody would be communicating with everybody. That's forbidden. But I don't know if it applies to the subcommittees. I'll check and I'll get back to you.
Okay, so I don't know where to go with that, so I guess we'll just have to wait to hear back on.
I just don't want to get caught later and find out that we shouldn't have been doing it. So if you, Ernest is good about checking it on things, and you check Ernest and then we'll know. Okay.
So is what you're saying, Betsy, your concern is because you're on the commission, you shouldn't be sending out emails, or anybody on our meeting can't send out emails to anybody else on our meeting?
Well, I think that this meeting gets publicized with the Open Meetings Act. So people from the public can actually come to this meeting and they can be part of it, even if they aren't on the committee.
Bethany?
At this meeting discussing these things because the public's invited, but the public wouldn't have access. Okay, the public wouldn't have access to our emails, so we're sort of meeting without inviting the public. If we
If
do
we're
email.
just trying to invite people to our fair,
I know, but it's
Yeah.
still meeting. It's still like discussing something.
we'll have to get some definite, I don't know how we can
I
move.
know you don't like it, Denise. I don't blame you. You
No,
know.
I just don't know how we can move forward if we can't email people to see if they can be on our,
You would have to be able to.
yes, I mean, how do you not?
We sent
email
out an
people?
email tonight reminding people that we had a meeting. It's coordinating a meeting. It's coordinating a future event. I mean, I understand the prohibitions, but there has to be some sort of,
Flexibility.
I mean.
And we're
it
saying in
has
this,
to be
yeah,
practical.
we just couldn't move, we couldn't do anything if that's the case. I mean, how do you not? How do you get, how do you communicate? Again, I don't know where, if we're at a stop right now, because I don't know how we move forward.
I think we just have Ernest check on
Yeah.
it. It's okay. You forget I even brought it up.
I
know.
have to say, Betsy is right. This was recently brought up at the commissioners retreat. It was discussed, and in the same way that if we don't submit agendas and we don't submit minutes within 48 hours prior to the meeting happening, we can't hold the meeting because it's not public. So any communications are still considered that, but I'm sure there might be some flexibility, as you guys said, with, just trying to do the setup of meetings, that has to happen. So Ernest will check into that, and he's always fast.
Okay.
Very
And I
quick
do
to
say
that.
in our agenda that says what we're doing is getting our panelists. So I mean, it is in our agenda that that's what we're doing. So, all right. So I will wait to hear back from you to get further, but if everybody, meanwhile, again, we're trying to get a list of 8 people together. I did send out an email. I know we lost Jeannie, and Jan isn't here, but if everybody could do their best to come up with 1 or 2 people. I know we can't send anything out till we hear from Ernest. So again, once we hear from Ernest, we'll try to move that forward.
Denise, this is the interpreter just clarifying. Sending to a person who's not on the committee is different than communicating within the committee. I just want to be clear that I know Betsy was a little cutting out, but she was talking about if Travis says yes, then sending it to the other members of the committee is the issue, not communicating with Travis.
Yeah, I don't really know what I'm very confused on the whole.
The
subject.
issue is within the committee. So if Travis says yes, and then Paul sends a message and CC's Betsy and Denise, that's communicating within the committee. The problem is not communicating with Travis. Communication is within the committee telling people
Okay,
Travis has said yay or nay.
okay.
So I'm really sorry to contribute to the
We
confusion.
just have to
but-
get an answer from a definitive answer. I have a feeling that it's allowable, especially if we made the emails available, if anybody asked for them. But let's just get an answer, because I mean, we're not going to figure it out. right here tonight.
So we'll put a period in that. We'll get back to that as soon as Ernest gives us some clarity. But in the meantime, think about who you might reach out to. And we really should have that by next week. So we can put like a hard date on next Friday that we want our list together so that we can develop a flyer and everything like that. So again, we'll give it till next Friday, but we'll wait to hear back from Ernest. Okay.
I'm very sorry if I contributed to the confusion, but I just want to clarify. You don't want to send out any email until you hear back from Ernest, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Gotcha.
Bethany?
I am just wondering, asking Ernest clarification, because again, my understanding is that it's through the Jeannie's back. Hold on one moment, 1 second. That it's the communication between the committee members. It's not, again, just to reiterate, it's not reaching out to other people. The email is reaching out to other people, correct, Ernest?
Ernest is saying, right, if I can clarify, the point of it is internal emails, like from the commissioners or the committee members. Outside people, that's fine. That's not usually forbidden.
Okay.
Like staff people contact outside people all the time, and then we would let the committee know. So what the original thing, like Shane Feldman, he's our retreat facilitator. We had to discuss it during the open meeting and agree that we wanted to have Shane Feldman. And then I, as a staff person, went out and contacted him. So it went through the staff people. So I feel like everything should come through the staff. So what happened is the commission told me, pick Shane. I asked Shane if he was available. Shane told me, and I told the commission. So I think if people know of a list of names for the presenters for the webinar, let me know or Bethany know, and we will reach out to them and find out if they're interested. I think that's the safest way so that you're not communicating with anybody outside at all. Basically, I can say to people, do you want to be part of the webinar on May 27th? And then we would discuss it within open meeting. I would let you know, but I mean, Bethany is correct that we don't discuss things within the commission because that would break the open meeting law. That the public is able to view anything we discuss, and that if we're picking certain people, they can give us, we would know, we would contact those people, get confirmations and get back to you, and then move from there. That's usually how it works with OMA and the commission. I hope that was clear, that the staff would facilitate all communication.
Well, I do have a list of actual people that we were reviewing on an open meeting. So, I mean, these are the people I am discussing right now are on an open meeting. So I feel.
Yes, you did discuss it right now, and it's an open meeting
Yes.
right now. But the
Okay,
thing is, if you give us the names and let us do the asking, we'll get the staff to get a commitment from those people. And then we can
Okay.
let you all know on the committee, the employment committee, that those people have confirmed. Instead of you asking outside people, the staff should really be the people. We'll communicate with those people completely for you. Basically, you give us the names of people, we communicate with them, we get the confirmation, and we communicate back to you that they're available.
I'm sorry that I'm laughing because it occurs to me that I couldn't tell Ernest who my person was without having that person sign a release of information. And to get them to sign a release of information, I would have to contact them. So there's something here that we're missing. This isn't practical.
Betsy?
Yeah, I think that we should be able to contact people, like Paul says, and the information about whether they're a yes or a no, or how long they want to speak, and all that kind of information sharing you should share it with Ernest and Bethany first. And then Ernest and Bethany can decide what needs to get to you, Denise, rather than the committee members discussing with each other a lot of things by email.
I'm still, like I said, I'm,
I hate it, I know. It's not
know.
easy to do open meeting act, but maybe we're not required to. And if Ernest finds out we're not required to, then just forget I even brought it up, you know, so.
So Ernest, can we, I know Jeannie's back on the call. Can we go through the people's names because it's a public meeting?
Hold on, let me pin her. So Jeannie is saying yes, as long as the interpreter can see me. I didn't know what people were talking about the OMA, because I came in and I was trying to catch up. So I need more clarification about what this discussion was about, because I came in the middle of it.
I wish I kind of knew exactly what this was. It's very confusing, I think, to everyone that the OMA is Open Meeting Act, and there is rules and regulations that about contacting people, and we're trying to get clarity on who we can contact. I believe from our discussion that we can contact people outside the committee, but communication inside the community or to commissioners needs to be on a public meeting like this. Does that sound correct, Betsy?
That's correct, but maybe because this is a group of non-appointed people, as a government appointee, I have to, as a commissioner, not talk to other commissioners. But maybe this meeting is different because it's, you know, it's a, you know, the rules may be different. I think we just need clarification, and Ernest can find that out for us.
I'm just trying to figure out how we can proceed with this meeting with not having direction on, can we go over a list of people
No,
that,
you can do anything you want at this meeting. 'Cause this
okay, at this meeting?
publicized, it's by email that you can't do anything you want.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So I know we lost you for a little, Jeannie, so we're just talking about who's on our list. We are trying to aim for 8 people. I don't know where we lost you, but our date is Thursday, May 27th at 6 p.m. is
I
our
saw
date.
that. I was here for that. Yes.
Okay,
And yes, I got the 6 to 8, 6 to 8 o'clock in the evening, right?
mhm.
I saw that too, yes.
So we are going down our list of possibilities on who was yeses. So we, Jesus, I think you were on for Jesus was a yes, and Alex was a yes.
Yep, I saw that.
Okay, what about
And
Travis?
we need to confirm the date with those people now that we know
Yeah.
the date.
Yeah,
I can tell them that it's May 27th because they said yes tentatively without knowing a specific date.
absolutely. Do you want us to wait to confirm the date until you throw out the dates to everybody and then we can get back together? Once we know what Ernest tells us how we can communicate, because if we can't communicate versus via email, we're gonna have to have another one of these
Yes,
meetings.
one second, Denise. She's saying, yeah, we didn't know the date till now. Let me just clarify what you're saying, the interpreter. Yeah, let me ask them first if they're even available May 27th. Because if you announce it and then they're not available, we don't have people. Let me ask them first whether the 2 of them can do it. And once they confirm, then we can confirm the date. So let's do it that way.
Okay, so our date to confirm our people is next Friday. Okay, so that is the 16th. So I guess I'm gonna have to wait for Ernest to say, do we have to meet to talk about our list? Before that date, do we have to have another date? So we'll have to move on from that and get back to everybody about that. But that's when, if everybody can do their best to reach out and have their names by next Friday. And once I hear back from Ernest, we'll set up our next meeting date depending on what the rules and regulations are. That sound good? Okay. Okay.
Jeannie is saying, I'm just thinking about the procedure in the organization. It feels like we have different people who are potential speakers that we could bring in. I've asked for 2, and Paul and other people have them from the employment community, and we're all part of the employment committee. So I'm wondering if we could be more organized, like try to come up with some standard or professional way. It'd be nice, like if we had a representative from the employment committee or RICDHH send a formal email to the people that we're thinking about speaking. And then ask them, you know, you said you were willing to speak. And so now I'm sending an official confirmation with the details of what the webinar will include, what the format will be like, the time and all that. I think it'd be nice to have that be a standard email from one person. So it's more organized. It's not just everyone reaching out. I agree with Jeannie. Yeah. Ernest is saying, because any information, you know, if I know that the people are available or whatever, we have a confirmation from one source and it's a standard kind of confirmation. I just think that'll look a lot more professional.
Do we have a person that wants to write that up, or do you have a form already at the commission that could be generated?
Ernest saying we can do that. Yep.
Okay, so you'll come up,
We already have things like that. We use form letters for email and stuff. I can take care of that with my staff. We can just send to people and ask if they're interested in participating or can they make a commitment to that specific date. Bethany and I can work on it. That's not an issue.
could we also?
I think that as long as I have the names of the people, and Jeannie's saying I wanted to add, it'll have the letterhead of CDHH. And if there's an honorarium, but if we're sending it for them to be volunteers or whatever, that would just help them, you know, we're not paying them. They're volunteering their time and sharing the information. Maybe it helps develop their skills as a speaker or something, but that's, you know, we're basically getting a benefit of them volunteering their time. And also then we'd have a list of who we had already invited.
Should we also, what are people's thoughts about sending something through the commission's listserv, looking for representatives that might want to speak at it? Is that something?
Good idea.
Just that if we're looking for a variety of speakers, if you might be interested, if you'd reach out to us, and then we'll have a list to choose from. So maybe more of a generic letter we could do on the listserv, maybe. I don't know how quickly we can get this, you know, out, but and then if we have more, we can say, oh, we already got that profession, and reach out to the different people. So maybe a letter of interest that can go out, maybe put that out on your Facebook page as well. And to get back to us by next Friday, if you're interested. So maybe that, okay, all right.
All right, that's a good idea.
Okay.
And I mean, we don't have to be worried about, it's a general call, then we don't have to have anybody sign any kind of release of information. It's going to be a webinar and it's in public that we're looking for people, and then people can voluntarily contact us.
And who would the contact person be, Ernest? Would it be yourself, or who would we want as what would be the best person to reach out to? You?
Me is fine. Me, Ernest, yep.
Okay. So in our letter of interest, basically what we would be saying is we're looking to represent different fields of employment for people that are deaf and hard of hearing. And if they could do a 10-minute presentation on their journey and the success of something along those lines, does that sound like what we're looking for? I think we had something up, asked to provide a short summary of their work experiences and to talk about how they overcame some of the roadblocks they encountered. So their successes and their roadblocks, something along those lines. We all in agreement there? We can also send that on the office.
Yeah, and sorry, Jeannie's saying it could be for people who are employed or unemployed. It could be completely open.
I thought our intent was people that were employed, what obstacles they came for their employment. I thought that was kind of what we were looking to do.
Yeah, I don't know that we want to change midstream like that. It's a great idea. But that
But
wasn't,
that could be some of the discussions they have. People can call up and say, okay, I encountered that too. That's a good idea. Or what do you think about this? You did had something similar. But I think it should be people that are where they want to be in their employment journey and what they overcame and how they maneuvered things so that other people can learn of maybe a route that they didn't take. Betsy?
I agree. We started this whole thing because we were looking for role models.
Yes.
We wanted people to feel more hopeful about being on the journey and being able to overcome roadblocks as they decide to do a career. So,
Well, we hope people would come to it that might have had similar experiences and maybe dealt with it differently. So, or people that might be interested in that profession, they didn't know that was how they got there. So, so I think this one should be more like focused on that, and we can always do something later differently.
Jeannie's saying, I was going broader, right? For the actual webinar, I understand where you're going from. Right.
And I was thinking too, Paul, like you could share on or have them share on the Office of Rehabilitation Services website, some of your success. People might be able, without you having to do a release, just saying, if you want to share your experience, please contact Ernest. And then maybe you don't have to do any kind of a release or anything if it's just a general letter.
yeah.
That might avoid that.
So, but Ernest is going to, is going to send out that letter to all of us, correct? And then I can just put that on our website?
We'll work on it with Bethany and Ernest behind the scenes. I'll see, we'll put something together to share with everybody.
Okay.
Okay. So we pretty good on that discussion? All right, so to be continued there. So let me see. Yeah. So I know Bethany wanted me to share, this maybe could be a future topic for a webinar. She was at the Education Committee and they were discussing programs from Deaf Incorporated. They mentioned a workshop about assertive or being aggressive. They said it was a workshop done to help people with improving professional communication and how they can connect with empowering people to effectively advocate for themselves in the workplace. Something that could be added to future webinars and could possibly include. So if you just thought that would be interesting. So that's something you want to mention something?
That was mentioned at the Education Committee meeting. I'm not sure if that's the exact title. That was what was relayed in the meeting, but I'm not sure if that was the exact title, but I thought that the topic was really applicable to the Employment Committee.
So something we can put in the back burner. Let's see what else I got. I did have a really nice discussion with Teresa over at ORS today. And I know she's talking with Paul and Jen and everyone at the Deaf and Hard of Hearing in their, the Deaf and Hard of Hearing unit. And one of the things we were talking about today, which was some of these already existing job fairs that are already out and they're for the general public, trying to make them more accessible for the deaf and hard of hearing. So instead of us creating all our own format, it's trying to make other companies be more familiarized with sign language interpreters and having captioning and things like that on there. If it's a virtual platform or an in-person, that educating, and that was something I know we were talking about, reaching out to employers. But I think we shouldn't just be doing our own thing, is if they're already doing their own job fairs, virtual or in person, making sure they're accessible for all. And so there was some conversation about one that was coming up that was postponed till May. And they said they never even thought about having an interpreter there before. It didn't even occur to them that that was something they should think about doing. So I think maybe that could also be our role, is to educate people that are having these fairs to make it more accessible. And I think that's just something that's not on their radar, because I know there was some discussion on an email that nobody asked. No, it wasn't, a lot of times people don't know they need to ask for accessibility, like it has to be requested. So again, I think that's something that we can focus on in the future, is when we're reaching out to employers, if they are having, do you have job fairs? Do you want some assistance in how to make it more accessible? I think that's just not something in their radar. So I do think, I know Jeannie mentioned reaching out to employers. So I think that might be a great next role for us, is trying to piggyback on things that are already out there and making them better and accessible, and not just a deaf and hard of hearing fair or a disability fair, an ability fair, everybody be able to join and not have to ask about it. Just know that when you go to it, that it's going to be accessible for you.
I actually love that idea, because that's actually kind of been like one of the biggest struggles that I've been having looking for employment. Like I want to be part, like I don't want to be insulated away from the general public. I want to be part of that, and I want the same employment opportunities as everybody else. So I feel like really a lot of it I should access. So if they could get education and access, that would be a really great avenue for us.
So, and maybe that would be our next one, is that we invite employers, big employers, and have
Right.
now the people maybe that are unemployed, or they're people, like inviting the public in to
Right.
why they couldn't get a job there, or why they weren't received, or they got. So I think awareness, I think reaching out to, and I know Jeannie had mentioned this a while ago, but I think having a bigger focus and having them change how they do things versus us hyper focusing on a group that wants to be inclusive, like be more, you know what I mean? And not say this is just for people with disabilities. Everybody wants to work. Everybody wants to be employed. So I actually think that that's a good focus for after we do this, is to get a list of big employers, and like I said, really, and maybe the governor, the commission can come up with a certificate that you're awarded, that you are aware, you're getting the commission's approval that you obtained some kind of a training or awareness. Like a lot of times their employees have to get credits. And if we did something that,
Yeah.
you get accredited that you are aware of accommodations, and it's not just deaf and hard of hearing, that you are aware.
Yeah, some recognition. That's great. I like that idea.
And get, maybe if we, I don't know if the commission does the CEU credits, but I know if there's credits involved, sometimes that also gets professional people there, that just, like I said, that might not come if it was just for their own information. But so I think that might be a nice focus for us to try to educate bigger places. And again, everybody wants to look inclusive, and what better if there's some kind of recognition from the commission that they, did some kind of a series or did something. So I think that could maybe be something we talk about after we get this next step going.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right, so let's put just thoughts on that one.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything they want to add?
No, I can't think of anything. And Jeannie's saying no.
Okay, so why don't we wait to hear back from Ernest with some instructions, and we'll get some drafts put together that we can share. And then let's see when we can meet back possibly again. We might need to do it sooner, but at least have a date while we have everybody on here. Could we meet back at the end of the month, like around the 29th? Just to put some confirmation on everything we discussed. So that would be Thursday, the 29th at 2:30.
I wouldn't be able to make the 29th.
How about Wednesday, the 28th? Can we stay on Wednesday?
How does Wednesday work for everyone?
That would work for me.
That would
Okay.
work.
All right,
Or Jeannie's not looking at the screen for a moment.
okay. I think-
Yeah. Wednesday is actually a better day for me.
Okay. All right, so our next meeting, but we'll have some confirmation once I hear back from Ernest. So we'll do a confirmation email of some of the things we discussed. But our next meeting is going to be Wednesday, April 28th at 2:30.
Okay. Sounds good.
2:30 to
Okay.
4,
2:30 to 4.
and you'll send me an email just
Yep,
summarizing this. Perfect. I'll start working on this.
okay. All right, thank you, everyone.